The following episode of Bread for the People is brought to you by Side Hustle Bread, Long Island's handcrafted artisanal bread company. Side Hustle Bread is a family-run virtual bakery that's bringing the neighborhood feel back to Long Island, one loaf at a time. Head on over to sidehustlebread.com for more information, upcoming appearances, and merchandise. My name's Jim Serpico, and this... Should I start with my name? Or should I start with this is Bread for the People? Do you like it like this? Welcome to Bread. Or do you like it like this? Welcome. Ready? Welcome to Bread for the People. Mine... Is there a script? Bread for the People. Welcome to Bread for the People. I'm Jim Serpico. My next guest is I would classify her as an old friend. Even though it was probably 8 years ago, we were sitting on set next to each other in Video Village on the FX series of Sex and Drugs and Rock and Roll. At times I was directing, at times I was producing, but Abby was up at the monitors, focusing and taking everything in, and between takes was tapping away on her laptop because I believe you were potentially answering customer questions for your brother's business.
Yeah.
But before we go into that, I have Abby Walla with me. Abby Walla is an actress, a writer, a producer, an entrepreneur, a dog lover, and the co-founder of Crushing It on Camera. It's good to see you, Abby.
Good to see you. And I love that description of me typing probably way too loud on my laptop. Takes lots of clacking.
Your brother has like a very successful business. I don't remember what it is.
Yeah, he actually exited at this point. So he had his business was Hello Sign, which was acquired by Dropbox, and so he stayed there for a while throughout the transition, and he's now a free man.
And you were kind of like helping out, and on the side.
Yeah.
What were you doing on that laptop?
What was I doing? What was I clacking at? So I used to work in their customer support team. So I would be like answering any technical tickets or things like that. That was my like side hustle. And it was perfect because I'm based in Los Angeles, but like I flew out to New York to, help out on the show. And so in between I was doing my thing.
That's pretty great. So you do a lot of things. You're a working actress in Hollywood. You've been on VEEP. You've recurred on a series a while ago called Switched at Birth. So you're, amongst all the other things, are you still going out for acting auditions?
Yeah, definitely. So the pandemic was obviously for everybody, it was weird. And during the time, I really doubled down and focused on my business, Crushing It on Camera. And then in the last, I would say like 6 months or so, have been able to really like turn the dial up again on acting and all of that. And so still, had an audition yesterday, still doing the thing.
That's pretty cool. I mean, the thing about you that I know is you really put your mind to what it is you're going to do, and there's no half-assing, right? There's like, we're going to figure this out and we're going to crush it. Shortly after the FX series ended, you and David Storch wrote a short film called Holiday Hostage. And you wanted to make it your business to get this produced, get it to film festivals, and there was nothing going to stop you. I remember meeting you and David out in LA, and I knew it was going to get done. And ultimately it did, and you guys do it in a big way. You got a name director. You got, besides you guys being in it, you got name actors and actresses. And ultimately you got into how many film festivals with this movie?
I don't know how many we ended up doing, but yeah, we won like best comedy at, I think, like 5 different festivals.
Yeah.
Got, best ensemble, different things. So yeah, so we did the whole thing. It was such a fun experience to be able to, I would say there's nothing like being in like a random town in like the middle of Colorado or Texas or something and just like watching your film in a room full of hundreds of strangers and just like hearing them laugh at it, hearing what they resonate with. So that was like such a unique, special experience to get to travel around and show that movie.
Yeah. Why did you do it? Why did you put all that effort? I mean, chances are that movie alone wasn't necessarily going to make any profit, right? I've done these short films, and I think I know why you've done them, why you did this one, but I want to hear from you, what's going through your mind? Because listen, you're in a profession in terms of being an actress that's very hard. Not sure if people realize like how many times actors and actresses go out to auditions, and there's hundreds of people going up for the same role. And when you don't get a role, the way of finding out you don't get a role is by never hearing anything. Right?
You're like, oh, I guess they must have gone in a different direction.
It's not like they send you a polite letter saying you didn't get it. You just never hear. And that's the standard. It's horrible.
Like, they suck, or did they just go with a guy instead of a girl? Like, what happened? Oh yeah, I can confirm the short film made no money. If that was your first question, not really the intent behind it. I would say it kind of.
But by the way, none of them make money, right? So that's not a failure.
Yeah,
that's not a failure.
Yeah,
we're usually doing these things for another reason.
Exactly.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, so it making money was definitely never the goal with it. So it kind of goes back to, I would say, I came out to LA when I was 16 years old to go to summer school at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts. They invited me back to the full-time program. I went home, graduated high school early because I was just like, I'm done here and I need to get out to LA. And so I moved out here when I was 17 on my own. And I've just always had an entrepreneurial spirit since I was a kid. I was always, I love your side hustle shirt that you're wearing right now.
Yeah.
I always had one side hustle or another. And I think from moving out here so young, I always came with the intention of like, this is a one-way ticket, like I'm doing the dang thing. And I, as much as I love acting and that's my passion and my number one priority, I've always been a realist about not wanting to sit by the phone and wait for it to never ring. Like you're saying, it's not even like we're getting the phone calls of the rejections. We're just hearing nothing. And so from pretty early on of me moving out here, I was like, oh, I can't, from being in acting class, not being able to find a scene that I wanted to work on. I was like, what if I write something? And, starting to kind of play around with that to, initially just to be like, to have more fun stuff to work on, to be able to shoot stuff with friends, like all of that. And so I would say that evolution continued into what eventually became Holiday Hostage was like, I know what I'm good at. I know what my brand is, my type is. David and I, very much have overlapping senses of humor. And, we were just like, why have we not written together? Why don't we take, what we both love to do, put it together? David had already done the film festival on the producing side. And so we really put our skills together to be able to create that. But it was really just about wanting to get something out there that we were proud of and reflected what we felt like we could do, and to be able to use that as a stepping stone for more opportunities versus, it wasn't the goal of it becoming a feature or making money. It was just like, we want to put something out there that's going to lead to more opportunities. And it definitely did that.
Yeah. I remember we did a kind of, in our mind, it was a pilot, but we did it as a short film for many different reasons. And we did shop it to television networks. And we also went through the film festival circuit. And we took it to one of the Academy Award qualifying festivals in Derry, Northern Ireland. And it was amazing because we met a lot of friends that we still talk to today from that festival, from England. It was just, it's a great opportunity to meet people all over the country, all over the world, and network, because a big part of this business is networking, right?
Exactly.
I mean, and it comes from people with investors. You never know who's going to invest in your product. You never know who's going to hire you as an actress, right? Because you were the lead or one of the leads in the movie. You co-wrote the movie, so now people are looking at you as a writer. And you're
Mhm.
meeting these people all over the place. So it's a great
Yeah.
way to do it.
And I think it's the common thing too in the industry where it's like everybody's got an idea. And so if you're someone who can like take the idea and actually execute on it and be like, okay, I had an idea, I put in the work, I did the thing, and now I have something to show for it. I think that that's really powerful too. So it's not just like all these, genius ideas living up in your head. It's like you can actually get something done. And it was also a tremendous learning experience because we did crowdfunding with it. We had to raise money. Like we didn't have the money in our bank accounts to be able to make that happen. We wanted to be able to do it union and everything too. So, just learning how to basically create a social media campaign to raise money and nobody knows who we are to be able to make this movie. And that was before we had any of the people attached to it as well. That
Right.
came later. So there was just such a tremendous learning experience for us that I've taken forward into everything I've done since.
Were you at all nervous to put this in the crowdfunding world? Like people like I've even talked to restaurants. Like there's been successful restaurants that have done crowdfunding. I did crowdfunding on a documentary we did called Burn. We raised a good amount of money that helped us shoot that movie in Detroit about Detroit firefighters. But I know some people are hesitant about doing it and putting your name out there. Did you feel funny doing it or were you cool with it?
No, it definitely was nerve-wracking. It felt very vulnerable to be putting ourselves out there like that because it's like, how many times have you clicked onto a Kickstarter and it's like their goal is like $30,000, $50,000, and they have like $700. And so it's like that fear of just like, oh, are we just going to fall on our faces? And it's awkward to be asking family and friends for money. It's like, why don't you pay for your own thing? So we really took the approach of, well, one, we hired a crowdfunding coach to teach us how to do it. And that's also like another theme of as we kind of go through, entrepreneurial journey, acting journey is like, I'm always somebody who's like, if there's someone who knows how to do the thing, I'll hire them to teach me how to do it.
I never even heard of one. I didn't know
Yeah.
there was crowdfunding coaches.
Yeah, so it exists. So, the approach that we took is because our film was a comedy. We really took the approach of like, we're going to make our campaign seem like this really fun, entertaining kind of a party that everybody wants to be a part of versus like we're begging for money because we're broke actors. And so
Exactly.
we like created tons of really fun content and the short film's about a dysfunctional Jewish family held hostage on Thanksgiving. So what we did is we roped in our actual Jewish mothers into the crowdfunding campaign. And we did a lot of like fun short videos with them. Our moms became like the star of the thing. We also did this like ridiculous stunt where David and I said if we hit certain benchmarks that we would allow our moms to set us up with JDate accounts and run the accounts for us and like pick dates for us. So it turned into this like whole thing where people were tuning in every day because they wanted to see like what happened next. We'd be posting like screenshots of stuff. Our moms would do like Facebook lives, and so we turned it into this whole fun, entertaining thing. And so people were like, okay, if this is how funny your campaign is, I can't imagine how great the film is. And people just wanted to be part of it and wanted to support us versus it feeling like we were begging. So we had something to offer by like entertaining people. And so I would say that's always the best approach with it's like, what are you giving them for them to want to invest in what you're doing?
So your value was entertainment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So did David's mom pick dates for David?
She did. We each.
I got to hear about this. I want to hear about these. How did it go?
Not great. Not great. I will tell you. I also ended up with a lifetime ban from JDate.
A lifetime fan.
Ban. I was
not banned. You were banned.
I was banned from JDate. Apparently, it's against the terms of service for your mother to be managing your account for you.
Oh my God.
Yeah. But no, we each went out on, I think, 2 dates. Mine were incredibly awkward. I would say mother does not know best in terms of, but it was a fun experience and they were like super game and everybody like loved tuning in for all the reports on how it went.
Right. So did you guys reach the goal of what you were trying to raise?
Yeah, we blew past it. So that's why we had to end up doing like a lot of these like additional stunts. Cause once you hit your goal, people are like, okay, you got what you needed. It's like, okay, how do we up the ante? Cause we can always use, you can always use more money in terms of production and stuff. And so,
Mhm.
yeah, I think we ended up doing like 10,000 more than our goal or something.
And you guys were, and still are, but in another way, like you used social media very effectively to get the word out about the campaign, the
Hmm.
crowdfunding campaign. Did that come naturally to you guys, or was the coach involved?
Yeah, both, I would say. Like, I think we took, and this is the thing with coaching too, is like I always take what I learned from the coach, and then what's important is you put your own spin on it. And so that's also where I would say like knowing customer service and knowing what people respond to, and like all of the things that I've done, they always stack up. So it's like it can seem like, oh, she's got this side hustle and that side hustle and this random thing and that random thing, but it's like all these things actually feed into each other, and all of those things fed into me being able to have
Mhm.
the business that I have now because I'm
Yeah.
using all of those skill sets. So we took a lot of the stuff
Yeah.
that we learned from the crowdfunding coach, but then like we created memes and we created like individual like gifs, like funny screenshots. Like we said, we brought in our mom, so we took the things that we knew were our strengths and we added that to what we were being taught. And so that's that I think that's why it like really took off.
Right. So it seems to me that for the reasons you guys did the short film and with your expertise in making content, including that film, and leveraging social media, instead of making a short film, you could do some kind of social series that would also get you out there as an actor, actress, writer, and
Hmm.
create a buzz. I mean, you guys are very tapped in and talented. And I think you, again, I believe that you guys will succeed at whatever you put your mind to. Has it ever crossed your mind to do like a free series and provide value to people to accomplish some of the same things you wanted to accomplish with the movie?
Yeah, I mean, like I think for me where next steps are is like just kind of the leveling up of it is just like my goal from day one has always been like I want to have my own series that I create, star in, produce, like do that whole route. And so
Sure.
that's basically like the direction now. And so like working on writing, what I would like to be able to sell for TV. And so that's kind of the next step for me. And
So like
then
an original spec script.
exactly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Nice.
I don't know that like, yeah, there's so many avenues now, which is what's so exciting about content creation. It's like you can do, you could do a TikTok series or an Instagram series, or you could do YouTube. And like there's so much out there for people that just have fun ideas and want to be able to entertain people. And then if you're smart about how you then turn that into whether it's monetizing it or creating more opportunity from that attention. There's just so many opportunities out there right now.
Yeah, there are. It's also it remains if you're going for the A leagues, it remains very competitive, right?
Yeah.
The reality, I mean, you're a realist, so it's still not to say it can't be done. And if anyone could do it, you could do it. But it's like, yeah, there's the Roku's, the Tubi's, the Fubu, or whatever it's called. And then there's Netflix and Amazon, but it's really hard, you
Hmm.
know, to land those things. So these kind of, however they notice you, you got to try it. And that's what was great about the short film.
Hmm.
Um, but what about writing on a show for someone else? Staffing.
Yeah, it's I don't know that that's my path specifically. It's something I've definitely like thought about and considered. I think I think kind of like big picture down the road, I would love to be able to produce stuff that other people that are not necessarily things that I've written and stuff as well. I don't know if
Yeah.
stepping's the route that makes the most sense for me. I really do love the on camera portion of it and being able to, bring it to life in that way. So, things can always shift and evolve, but I don't know that that's like my specific path at this moment.
Yeah. I love how you talked about bringing everything that you've done, whether it was like it seemed on the surface it was related, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dealing with the customers, all that background kind of helps inform how you're going to go ahead, or you could use it in your next thing. It's kind of what I'm doing with my side hustle with the bread business, right? Everyone sells bread. You could get bread anywhere, but I'm trying to market it with my weird sense of humor. And it seems to like resonate with a certain group of people. And I think that's kind of our story. And recently that content has gained the attention of certain people in the food content space.
Mm-hmm.
So now there's potential talk of me being more of an in front of the camera person for these types of things, which I think is hilarious on one level.
Is this an exclusive announcement right now?
Kind of. I mean, listen, you know how it is. It may never happen, but there are conversations about it. And it's funny. It also relates to, so I can't go on Facebook without seeing you guys. And that's a testament to you.
Do you get hit with our ads all the time?
Yeah.
Oh, I love
all
it.
the time. But like, they have serious amount of views.
Yeah.
And I listen, I've seen the stuff from the very beginning. From day one, I've seen the ads. And maybe I was one of the first 10 people to like them. But like, it's in the multiple, like many thousands and thousands. Like, this thing has grown so unbelievable. Could we tell everybody, let's tell everyone about Crushing It on Camera and what it is.
Yeah, for sure. So Crushing It on Camera is a online coaching business that David, my writing partner, former writing partner, we're not writing at the moment together, but we came up with, and basically we coach entrepreneurs and business owners on how to be great on camera and use video in their marketing. So, that is from realtors to doctors to coaches to course creators to dog trainers, like anybody,
to bread bakers, to
bread bakers, anyone who needs to be the face of their business. Yeah. There are people that are not necessarily like, naturals on camera, but they have a story to share. They've got value to give. They're experts at what they do. And so basically, we help them. It's a mix of like acting 101 in terms of being great on camera. And then also my marketing background, because another one of my side hustles was my digital marketing agency. So it's like combining the on-camera experience with the marketing experience to be able to help all these people grow their businesses.
Now, do I qualify? Because I am not able to really jump rope, although I've been practicing for the last 2 months. I really have been jumping rope, but I am not as good as you, because you have an ad. One of your first ads is you jumping rope. And what is that, like an acting trick? What is that thing?
No,
what are you doing?
Okay, so because you guys can't see us right now. So I'm jump roping in the video. It's a one take, and I'm talking throughout the video, and I'm basically saying like, this is how easy it can be to create videos. Like, I can jump rope at the same time. Like, because the biggest pain point and struggle of a lot of our audience is like, creating videos takes them forever. They're like, it takes me, 2 hours and 20 takes and a mini meltdown to create a video. And so the idea is like, it can be as easy as jump roping and, doing a video in one take. And so it's just a fun, like, attention grabbing type thing. People love that one. We have a lot of different types of things that we test. And again, it goes back to like, even the thing with the crowdfunding, it's like, are you entertaining people? Are you giving value? Are you creating something, that solves a problem for people? Like, whatever that is, it's not like I'm jumping rope because I just want to show off that I can jump rope. It's like being able to speak to something and give value to something that they're struggling with. And that's why that fun, ridiculous video does so well with our ads.
Yeah. I'm always thinking about, and I'm not saying I succeed at it, but I truly am thinking about what is the value that this video I'm posting on my bread account is going to provide. Mm-hmm. Sometimes, to be perfectly honest, I'm trying to, I like to make people laugh. So I'm with
Yeah.
you on the entertainment side. If I could pull that off, but it's not always easy to have a good one, but I try. I try as hard as I can. That's the first thing. The second thing is to provide myself with credibility in the bread space. And that's the weird thing. Like, my tone isn't always consistent because, like, I'm trying to show a great shot of a well-lit loaf of bread in a still image on one side, and then the next video is me doing something crazy and cursing and being silly. So I don't know. Do you, in your opinion, does the bread picture provide value?
I mean, I think there probably is an aspect. I was like, I actually did look at your Instagram, I think like yesterday or something. But I mean, I think people do want to see that the product looks good and the bread is part of the product, but you're the
Right.
product too. Because like you said, everybody's selling bread. So why are they buying it from
Right.
you?
Yeah.
Like, what's your unique selling point, or why are you the one that they want to get behind? And so, but there is an aspect of just like on Instagram, it is a platform that, pictures and things like that. And so, I don't think there's a problem with mixing in some of like, here's what it looks like in addition to the different fun videos and things that you do.
Right. And without giving it all away, because I'm sure it takes a long time, but is that person's personal story, like when you're coaching those people and saying it's easier than you think, it doesn't have to take 2.5 hours and 20 takes. Do they get the point, like out of the box, that it's their story? Or is that the kind of thing you talk to them about? Like, are they struggling with what it is they're even saying? What should the point of the content be? Just like a good friend of mine is a personal trainer. And just like bread makers, there's personal trainers everywhere. And there's also multiple personal trainers in one city. So, like, what is it about you? Everyone has weights.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's free content. People could just go on YouTube to work out if they wanted to, like whatever that is. So why are people coming to you? So yeah, that's a huge part of what we work on. So the way that we coach is we basically layer. So one of the first things is teaching preparation, because if people don't know how to prepare effectively for their videos to be able to knock them out quickly and easily, like we have our quote unquote, we call it our 3-take rule. Like it should never take you more than 3 takes to be able to create a great video. And that's something that comes from it's the same thing with auditioning, really. It's like you need to be prepped to the point that you can knock out your audition in 3 takes or less. Like after that, it honestly does not get better. That's where you start, spinning and getting frustrated and all of that. So we teach preparation first, and then we do start from there, like a lot of the layers that we add on. One of the biggest things is storytelling, because that is the difference between hiring one personal trainer versus another personal trainer. Is which one do you resonate with? Which one do you feel like is the one who can actually help you solve your problem? Which one do you, when they talk, you actually understand what they're talking about? They're able to explain it in a way that lands with you. And so that's why, whether it's bread, personal training, whatever it is, story is the thing that distinguishes you, because for the most part, people's products are relatively similar. Like, obviously if somebody has a terrible product, that aside, but if you have people that have like similarly great products, the story is what's going to make people resonate with one person over another. And you don't need everybody to resonate with your thing. Like it should also be distinguished enough that people that are like, yeah, that's not my thing, will just keep on scrolling by, which is totally fine because they weren't going to buy from you anyway. So if somebody's looking for, bread from Serious Bread Maker and they like don't have a sense of humor, they're probably not your people. And that doesn't matter. Like you don't need them to watch your content. So you might as well be like all out being you, because the people that do resonate with that are going to love that. They're going to follow you. They're going to keep on coming back. They're going to share it with their friends who are like-minded. Like that's where things start to exponentially grow.
Yeah. I've got one that I'm planning to do that's just really pushing the edge, and it's going to turn some people off. I definitely have gotten messages occasionally where I did, people were offended or whatever, and I just block them.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, you now see our ads and you see how much more engagement we have on those videos.
Oh yeah.
Well, that also means like we have like way more trolls than we've ever had before. Like the amount of people that are like, they're actually the worst to David, which is really funny. But it'll be like really random things like, this guy doesn't look like he showers, or like whatever. But other people just being like, you guys are stupid, you're not funny, like whatever. And it's like, I don't care what these people think. They're never going to buy from me anyway. Like, I'm not going to water down my content so some dude in his mom's basement isn't going to be upset about it. Like, you got to do what you want to do, and the right people are going to be drawn to that, and the wrong people are going to scroll on by. And that's exactly what you want with your content. You want to filter those people out.
But it sounds like while you're helping these people shoot these videos, you're also giving brand building advice.
Definitely. Yeah. So it's a lot of marketing stuff, because a lot of people are like, I'm just a realtor. Like, what is different about me and stuff. And so we do dig into that with people, and be able to help them really carve out what their story is, how they're going to represent their brand, making sure it's authentic to them. A lot of people are more introverted. Their videos are going to look different than David and my videos, because we're more, silly. Like, we have people, you have a more dry sense of humor. Like, your stuff's going to look different than ours. And so just helping everybody carve out, whether that's the branding, the story, the tone in their videos, all of that to be the best version of themselves.
Yeah. It's funny. I had to put together a reel that had a lot of the comedy stuff I do on Instagram, along with like a montage of some of the people who have been on the podcast, because I also have a lot of really credible people in the food space on the podcast. So I wanted to showcase that. And then one of the notes I get is, when you're doing that intro of Amy Emberling at Zingerman's, we really wish you were smiling. It's like, I'm doing a fucking audio podcast. I didn't do it for this reel,
Yeah.
It's just, it's crazy. It's crazy. The notes process. How are people, that's on the other side. You're giving notes now. To your clients. Sure. How are people, how do they accept notes? I mean, most people I find are, well, certainly in the business, you could get very defensive.
Mm-hmm.
Do you find people getting defensive?
Honestly, not really. Like, I mean, occasionally here and there, but we've really, before somebody joins our program, they've gone through a pretty extensive funnel in terms of like going through our content, having a sales call, strategy call with us previously, and now we have a sales team that does those calls. So they've had this like intake call. So by the time somebody's in our coaching program, they really trust that we're the ones that can solve their problem. And so people are pretty receptive to it. They're also not actors, so they don't have like an ego about it. Like, they are in a position where they're like, I know I need help with this, like, help me solve this. And so for the most part, they're pretty receptive to it. And yeah, it's not quite the same as having to give like industry feedback to industry people.
And is your ideal client an employee of a corporation or an entrepreneur that owns a large corporation, or could it be a small company with like 5 people and you're coaching the face of that organization?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it can be across the board. I would say a lot of people that come through our coaching program are like solopreneurs, or they're the face of their business. But we've also definitely had like corporations like sending their sales leader or a team leader into the program, because especially in the world of Zoom and remote meetings, they need to be able to have that same feeling on camera as they might in person, so that their teams are like really energized to be able to keep working hard for them, and their message is clear and all of that stuff. So it can really depend across the board, but anybody who needs to be the face of their business or be on camera and be able to deliver a message in a compelling, clear way.
Right. Or has aspirations to do so, and they should do so, but they don't. Like a lot. It's funny, like I came up through the bread thing. Obviously, I have to be a bread maker to do that. But then I started becoming a vendor at farmers markets. And I remember hearing from a lot of the vendors at the beginning, I love how you guys put yourselves in the videos, because most people don't do that or don't feel comfortable doing that. And they're just putting the product or pictures from the farmers market or whatever. And that might make certain people aware that you're there. But besides that, it comes back to the value thing, right? What value are we providing people? And it can't always be the product, because there are similar products. There's nothing that unique.
Yeah. Like if you put like 10 loaves of sourdough in front of me and I'm just looking at them, like, how am I going to know which one I should pick? But if I've seen a compelling video where I'm like, oh, Jim's a real person. I like that his family's involved. Seems
That
like
was a big
good
thing.
story. Yeah, like, and he's funny. He makes me laugh. Like, okay, I want to support that guy. Or
So,
if I question
another
about
thing I
it,
do.
can I answer it?
Sorry to cut you off.
Go for it. Yeah.
Another thing I do at the actual markets or fairs that we have a booth at selling bread is we take those pictures of the family and we put them up. Like we try to make sure that people there see it. We try to create this experience. Like, this is the brand. These are the people behind it. This is how it's made. The names of the products have funny names. Right? Like my plain bread is plain ass Italian bread. People see that and they just die. It sounds stupid, but they're like, they love it, because they feel, they're like, oh, I don't like seeds. And then they see it and they know, like, we're taking a shot at them, but in a fun way, and they love it.
And I think that also comes back to like, there's been a huge shift in marketing over the last several years towards people wanting to feel like they're buying from other people versus just feeling like they're buying from big corporations. So that's why you see big corporations hiring influencers and to make these really casual on their iPhone videos of them talking about the products or using the products, because people feel better feeling like they're buying from another person, a trusted friend, like that kind of a vibe. And so I do think you allowing yourself to be the face of the business, which might, for some people, they're like, it's all about the bread. It's counterintuitive. But the fact that you're allowing yourself to be part of it is allowing people to feel like they know you, they like you, they trust you, you're making them laugh a little. And that's how you build that loyalty.
I'm making them laugh a lot, Abby. Not a little.
You're like, the plain ass bread is really funny. It's not a little funny. It's a lot.
They fall down and they hurt themselves when they see it.
It's hysterical.
How do you know everything, Abby? And I'm being serious right now. Like, you know so much about so many things. How do you know all these business things?
Forever a student. I mean, I'm just always trying to learn more things. There's so much that I don't learn. I feel like I'm constantly brought up against the edge of my growth of like, oh, this is another area that I need to learn more about. But it is like the thing of, it seems like the common thread of our conversation today is it's just like all of the different things that I've done. There is a convergence of my skill sets that I think is like those things that felt separate. I'm at a phase now where they're finally coming together and I'm able to like use all of the different things that I've done. I mean, make no mistake, like in my business now, like, yeah, we're focusing on marketing and selling, but my customer support background is huge because you have to retain the people that are hiring you and to make sure that they feel happy. Like all of that gets tied in. Our content creation, being able to raise money for crowdfunding definitely went into us being able to create fun ads for our business. So it's just like, I'm just honestly always trying to learn more and push myself to grow and hiring coaches and all of that. So it's just kind of a forever journey.
Yeah. I love that you're able to take your life's journey. And when you were going through those different things and phases and chapters, you weren't really thinking about what the agenda was. And and I feel like I'm in that same place. My backgrounds converge all the time. I really started on a path of music, and to this day, to even do the bread thing, like whether I don't know, I get a kick out of being able to edit the videos and use my music background and my music editing, and just use all the areas from my life for all these different things.
And how much has your producing background also helped you with starting a business? Because it's not
huge.
Like, it's like producing and running a business are not very different things.
No, they're very similar. There's plenty of differences, but there's a lot in terms of actual production of bread. And we're talking about lots of bread. The producing really helped figure out how to organize and execute a plan to make it happen.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere, right? I never trained anywhere. This is all self-taught and I went in way over my head. But the producing background definitely helped.
Mm-hmm.
What about, I remember you were passionate about animals.
Still am.
You still are, right? What are you doing with that?
No, I don't like dogs anymore.
You're still involved?
What'd you say?
You're still involved with rescues?
Yeah.
And
So I would say my latest antics on the animal side was, I guess it was last year, a little bit more than a year ago. I fostered a mama pit bull dog and her entire litter of puppies.
Wow.
So I had them they were abandoned. Well, the mom was abandoned pregnant. The rescue took her in. Then they needed a foster for her. So I had all these puppies from when they were like 2 weeks old and had to have them for a couple of months until they were old enough to be adopted out. And then I kept one of the puppies as well. So I adopted him. So that was always like something that I was like, okay, I want to at least once foster an entire litter just for the experience. It is a crazy experience though, so probably once was enough for me. But it was so much fun getting to watch them grow. And then now I have little reunions with
that's
the whole
cool.
So yeah, so they'll come over and play in my backyard, and all the pups are still hanging out.
Pure pit bulls?
No, they're mixes of some sort. I don't know what the dad was, but they all look like, I mean, the other boys are like almost 90 pounds. So they're definitely not just pit. Mine luckily is only like 55 pounds. So I ended up with the run, which was lucky because I don't need a 90-pound pit bull. Like 55 is good. They're so strong.
That's awesome. Well, listen, I am fascinated with all that you've accomplished here. I think crushing it on camera is amazing because there are so many people that can use it, even influencers that I know that are relatively successful with hundreds of thousands of followers. You know, a lot of times they're so successful because of what they're showcasing in some cases, and it's not them at the forefront. And they start to think it is. And then when they ultimately get on camera, they're really flat. You know? And they could use a little help there too. So I think right now, there's so many ways to use video. It's so important. And the skills that you guys teach are really important. So I love the idea of the company.
Thank you. Thanks so much. Yeah, I mean, video is definitely not going away. It's just going to become more and more necessary for the world that we're living in. So it's really fun to be able to help people make that happen and to see the results. It's just that makes it super fulfilling for us to be able to just like really help people in an area that they struggle with.
Awesome. And we find you guys at crushingitonCamera.com, right?
Yeah, you can find them find us at crushingitonCamera.com, or I'm just abbywalla.com, and find me on the socials or whatever if you have any questions.
Awesome. Thanks for joining me today, Abby. Good to see you.
For having me. I love bread and I love your podcast, and it's really fun to see how you're tying it all together. I think
Awesome.
The first thing that we I was going to say the last thing is the first thing that I think we bonded on was the pizza bagel thing. Because I'm an Italian Jew, so I'm a pizza bagel.
As am I.
And I was like, as you are. So I was like, it's the first thing we actually connected on was bread.
I love it. Good stuff.
Thanks for having me.
Right. This episode of Bread for the People was brought to you by Side Hustle Bread, Long Island's handcrafted artisanal bread company. Side Hustle Bread is a family-run business that's bringing the neighborhood feel back to Long Island one loaf at a time. If you like what you're hearing, don't forget to head on over to iTunes and rate and review this episode. Reviewing and rating is the most effective way to help us grow our audience. This episode was produced by Milestone TV and Film. I'm your host, Jim Serpico. Blessed be the bread, everyone.